The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley Show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some magic.
It is magic time. Hello, and welcome once again to the Warren and Bradley Show. I am one of your hosts, Bradley Victor.
I'm the other host, Warren Van. You already banged your feet
rustling
against
around
the
here.
desk.
We need a better soundproof studio here. We were just complaining about all the... Seems like all the hogs keep riding by all
Yeah, a
the
lot
time.
of Harley guys just like rolling down the
And
street
just
here.
giant trucks, and I don't know what's going on. It seems like...
Summertime's the time you bring out your loud vehicles.
I guess, and just drive back and forth in front of the Warren and Bradley studios to try to fuck up our shit.
Trolling Bumtown to see what's going on.
But anyway, it's a nice day, still summery.
Yes.
I was out enjoying the weather a little bit today. Had a couple experiences, a couple interactions with people.
Oh.
I don't know if we want to get into... Well, I'll save... We have a Street Freak of the Week, and actually a friend of the show has submitted one as well.
Oh, that's exciting.
So I think we'll have 2 or 3 Street Freaks contenders this week that you can pick from. We might have a That's How Women Are. We'll see how that goes. It's something that... It's basically just going to be me bitching about something.
I think that's what most That's How Women are.
Usually with the That's How Women Are, there's some sort of overarching thing where I can...
It's just going to be you complaining about your life.
Well, no, I can at least usually spuriously attribute it to all women or something and wrap it up in a neat little bow. This might be just completely a random thing, and I'm going to try to accuse women of being a certain way. And
I think that's completely valid.
I think so, too. We'll have some celebrity minutes, some updates on a couple stories we had in the past, and just some inane, idle chit-chat.
Oh, good.
Something
to look forward to.
Yeah, I think that'll be exciting. Yeah, I was wandering around today, ran into a couple friends, had some coffee, just did my little do-do-do-do Sunday that I normally have. It was funny, though, because this morning, when you were a little kid... Were you nervous about talking to strangers?
I don't know.
About 6 years old, 5 years old?
Maybe. I might have been, yeah.
Because I wasn't at all. I was always very...
You just walk up to him and start talking?
Well, I was like one of those obnoxious kids you see in movies who are completely unrealistically precocious, and they're always just saying these obnoxious things.
Oh, yeah, I've seen kids like that around.
Yeah,
sure.
And I was kind of like that, where I just was like, hey, what's going on? And I would just go talk to strangers all the time. But today I was at the bagelry, and I was sitting at one of the outside tables having my bagel and coffee, and there was this mother came with her kid, and there was another table out there, but it only had one chair. Uh-huh. And so she wanted the kid to ask me if he could use the other chair that I had at my table. And of course I'm hearing all this because they're just like 5 feet away, but I don't acknowledge the fact. I just pretend that I can't hear them. And I could have just said, yeah, go ahead, use my chair.
Yeah.
But I could tell that it was this big deal that she was asking the child to come ask me. And it was like she was trying to teach him some sort of lesson or something.
Teaching him how to talk to strangers.
I guess, yes.
Yeah, very valuable lesson for downtown Bellingham.
And so she's like, go ask him if you can use the chair. And he's like, and he started, sort of snuffling like he might cry, just the very idea of having to talk to me.
Yeah.
He's like, you ask him. Like, no, you have to go ask him if you can use the chair. And
Jesus.
I'm just sort of chuckling to myself, waiting for this to happen.
That's an annoying mom is what that is.
Yeah, it was kind of obnoxious. I should have just shut her down, but my mirth at the child's discomfort was greater than my...
I feel bad for this child, though. That's the thing. This is the kind of mother thing where it's just like, you're doing things that you're making your child uncomfortable for no reason.
Right,
like,
but
this kid will learn to talk to strangers when he's 8 just naturally. You don't have to do this on the street.
But you don't know that for sure. He could be like a dog that refuses to walk on a hardwood floor, and finally you just have to drag it onto the hardwood, and it freaks out for a while, but then finally it realizes that it's not going to fall on its ass.
Absolutely necessary.
Or maybe it does fall on its ass, but Anyway, the dog is better off in the long run, and the kid will be better off when he can go up to strangers and get candy and do all the other things.
Yeah, exactly.
And molested. So anyway, she's like, no, you go talk to him. And she's kind of a bitch, so I should have just shut her down. But he was like, just getting all red and pent up. And so finally he comes up to me. And of course, I wish I had had like a pipe or a journal that I had been writing in, or a ledger or something, or maybe some horn rim glasses that I could take off and fold and put in my pocket. But he came up to me. Ponder
his requests.
I know. But he came up to me, and I turned towards him expectantly, waiting. And he was just shaking with fear.
Oh.
And it was kind of sad. But he went, can I borrow your chair? And I went, yes, you can. And he went, oh, thank you. And he took the chair and put it back to the table. And his mom went, see? It was fine.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets to look forward to the next, 12 years of that bullshit.
Until he can get the fuck out of there.
Until he can get the hell out of there.
Yeah, it was amusing. I mean, there was no harm done, really. I mean, who knows what kind of abusive thing she does to him when she's not around other people.
I guarantee it's just nonstop just riding that kid until he despises her.
He seemed kind of, I don't know, like a little wuss.
Well, you know what? I think that might be kind of a function of having that sort of mother in your life.
That's possible, yeah.
Yeah. If you're just like...
You don't feel confident because
if you have a mother that's cool and it's just like whatever and you get along with it and you grow up normally, you would probably be able to talk to strangers anyways. But if your interactions with adults are mostly the interactions you have with your bitch mother,
right,
it's going to turn you against adults generally.
I also had a little shit tailgating me. Normally, when somebody tailgates me, I don't really care. I don't react because I'm always going at least 5 miles over the speed limit. And I figure if they're tailgating me, I'm not going to speed up or do anything because fuck them. But this time, there was this kid who was like, he looked like he was 12 years old. It did not look like he should even have a driver's license. And he was in this gigantic Dodge Ram, dually pickup truck. Yeah. And he had a bunch of other little idiots in the truck with him. He comes up behind me, and again, I'm going about 5 miles over the speed limit, and gets so close. It got to the point where he was maybe 2 feet, 3 feet behind me, and he was purposely going back and forth just right behind me.
Really? So he wasn't doing this accidentally because he just learned how to drive?
He was not doing this accidentally. He was like, oh, look at this, and trying to intimidate me or something in his giant truck.
Yeah.
And normally, as I said, I wouldn't do anything about a tailgater, but this was so close that if I had to stop suddenly or if the idiot is just distracted, which I'm sure would be very, very likely, that he would just run right into the back of my truck. And so I finally looked in the rearview mirror very blatantly, put my hand palm back, and motioned several times vigorously back, and then mouthed back off into the rearview mirror. And he saw me, and he kind of went, oh, and his friends all laughed, but he sort of pulled back a little ways. Yeah. And then I pulled into this. I was getting a Subway sandwich, and I pulled into the Subway, went in and got my sandwich, got back out into my truck, and he pulled up next to the truck. So I don't know if he was circling the block or something and looking for me afterwards. So this is this tiny little guy with his tiny little friends. He pulls up behind. He's like, "Want to go, bitch? Huh?" And yells this out at me out of the truck. And of course, I said, "Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do this. Where do you want to go? Let's figure this out." And I was sort of half in, half out of my truck, and he was pulled up next to me, and he went, where are we going to go? What are we going to do here? And his friends are like, oh, and they start poking him, and they're talking, and finally I'm just like, is this happening or what? What are we going to do here?
Are we going to settle
this?
And
then one of his friends like, go, go, go! And they peeled out and drove away from the parking lot. So I don't know if it was just the truck that made him feel invulnerable.
No, well, this is the reason why there are restrictions on teenagers having other kids in the car when they're driving.
I thought they weren't supposed to.
I don't think they're supposed to.
Yeah.
That was probably a violation of the law.
He looked like... I'm not one of those people who... I'm not 80 years old, and when I see a 30-year-old, I think they're 12. I'm not one of those people, but he literally looked like he was maybe 13 or 14 years old.
But, I mean, the kid wouldn't have been doing the tailgating thing if he wasn't trying to impress his friends, probably, or being egged on by his friends. He wouldn't have tried to, say he was going to start a fight with you if that hadn't been going on with the friends. You know what I mean? It's all the friends.
I just love situations like that because you know what he had imagined in his mind would happen, and to disappoint him. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to beat up a little kid, but it's like beating up a woman, basically.
Yeah, there's nothing,
and that's we've talked about this before with our good friend Chance when he would arm wrestle women. And the best thing that can happen...
On the podcast before.
We've mentioned it on the podcast before. Let's embarrass him even further. The worst thing is you arm wrestle the woman and you lose.
Yeah.
That's horrible. But even if you win, well, great, you beat a woman, you know? So there's not really any upside to that equation.
The best move, usually in all these situations, is to take the high road.
Yeah.
Take the high road, just step away.
But in my mind, I always figure that it's not actually going to devolve into violence.
Yeah.
And so you might as well call the people on their bullshit, because people like that who are constantly trying to challenge people, they don't really want to get in a fight.
No, probably not.
And
especially
so,
a teenager.
Yeah, and so people just need to shut them down every once in a while, call their bluff, and then they'll realize that they're being an idiot and they'll back away. Hopefully. Otherwise, I might have to just lay waste to these 16-year-olds on a daily basis.
Beating up children left and right.
It's good practice.
If you do get in a fight with a 16-year-old who instigates a fight with you after a driving altercation like this,
right,
and you beat him up,
right,
can you get put away for child abuse?
I don't know, because I'm not sure about the whole legal ramifications of a fight. When two people are deciding that they're going to fight, I think you both can be arrested just for
fighting in general,
disorderly conduct or whatever.
But is there any sort of there's a distinction with statutory rape?
Yeah.
Right? We've talked about that before. Is there any distinction with statutory fighting?
I don't know. I think if a 16-year-old attacked you with a baseball bat, you could beat him up.
Yeah,
and you'd
probably.
Be fine.
I'm sure it probably just depends on the circumstance, regardless of the person's age, right? If they're instigating the fight, they're the ones going to be in trouble.
Well, because you've heard stories of people, wandering around in some inner city and 14-year-olds or 13-year-olds attack them and beat the shit out of them, So, I don't know. You can't put anything past these little bastards.
No, you can't. You cannot.
They wander the streets, scavenging for loose change and discarded cigarette butts.
Spare $1.
And give me a motherfucking cigarette.
I ran out of gas ways back. Got any meth?
You smoke weed, don't you?
Good.
I could use some change.
They may be mentally unstable and deserving of our charity, but that doesn't mean they can't be selected as the Warren and Bradley Show Street Freak of the Week.
All right, then. So we teased this earlier, but I have several Street Freaks of the Week for Warren to choose from this week. I'm not sure which one I should start out with. I think I'll start out with the most innocuous one, where I was just downtown, standing on my usual corner, smoking my cigarette, watching people.
Your usual corner.
Yes, and you know where to find me. Minding my own business, and some cat-like homeless person snuck up behind me. I had no idea they were behind me.
They're cat-like because they were so quiet and
so
stealthy.
Yeah, yes.
Wow.
Got probably within 2 feet of me and just went... screamed.
That's annoying.
Insanely loudly.
Yeah.
And I went, ah! And jumped. And when you have the coffee lid, any little jostle, this thing of coffee will just spray out the little hole.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah.
Oh, my God. So I got it all over my face and down my hand. So I was trying to wipe off. I'm like, what the fuck? I look over at the guy. And this guy was great because he was wearing an Angry Birds t-shirt that looked like it was made for a 10-year-old because it was way too small for him. He was just bulging out of it all over. His belly was exposed. And then had a brown velvet top hat, a very high brown velvet top hat with a big bow on it.
Jeez.
It looked like something from some illustration of Through the Looking Glass or something with the Mad Hatter. And so he screams. I go, ah! I look around at him, and he's just giving me this matter-of-fact look. Like, hey, what's going on? And so I kind of put my hands up, what the fuck? And he goes, hey, do you think I could have one of your cigarettes, please?
No.
And I went, no, I'm sorry. And he went, oh, okay, have a good day. And he walked over to the corner. There was an old woman
with
one of those little hand cart things, like walker things with the wheels on the bottom of it. Walked up behind her. And she went, oh! And freaked out, and then just kind of looked at him and scurried away across the street as fast as she could. Kept going up to every single person who was coming around on the street and screaming. And then in a completely normal, matter-of-fact tone, asking them for money, asking them for cigarettes. I don't know if he just comes from a certain strange land where this is a greeting or something, but it was very annoying and very disturbing.
It's a means of intimidating people, I guess, maybe into giving you things.
Maybe if you get people off guard and kind of back on their heels, they're just like, oh, I'll hand over money to you. I don't know.
Did the thought occur to you to take the lid off your coffee and throw it in his face?
No.
Okay, because maybe I'm not a very good person, because that's the first thing that came into my mind. It so annoyed me, I would be like, I don't know, that would be the impulse that would come to me.
It just does put you on edge, because then I had to be watching him the entire time, because I wanted to know when he was going to scream, because I didn't want to be startled by the scream over and over again. But there used to be this crazy Japanese game show on, or I don't even know what the game was, but it was basically just a weird little man who would go out on the street and sneak up behind people and scream as loudly as he could, and they would film it. Oh, it's Japanese. But it was basically like that.
Yeah.
And I never saw him get any money or any cigarettes, so it obviously wasn't working for him, whatever it was. But
well, maybe he's just trying this today.
Yeah, maybe.
And he'll try a different approach tomorrow.
Maybe he'll just go up and bludgeon people and then rifle through their pockets afterwards.
It'll get you more money in cigarettes, I'm sure.
I'd actually prefer that, because at least I'd be unconscious and not irritated the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay, our second street freak. That was street freak number 1, the Screamer.
Yeah, Screamer number 1.
The second one comes from friend of the show, Caitlin.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope I do this justice, because she told the story, and I think I remember all the salient details. But basically, she was at a local bar/restaurant last night, kind of early in the evening, not really late. She was sitting with some friends, and a homeless man entered the establishment, kind of younger, with spiky blonde hair, apparently, walked up to one of her friends and just started rapping at him in a very aggressive, loud, like, yo, what the fuck, motherfucker, hey, and just right in his face.
Yeah.
And everyone in the restaurant was like, okay. None of the staff, they have security there as well, because it's a bar as well. Nobody was doing anything, but it was disturbing everyone in the restaurant. Finally, some little 18-year-old busboy came out of the back of the restaurant and went up to the guy and said, hey, you have to get out of here. You have to go now. And he did. He walked out of the restaurant. As soon as he got outside, stripped off his shirt, and was running around with the shirt off, saw a convertible, a fancy, nice convertible, parked across the street with the top down. Jumped into the convertible, took off the emergency brake, put it in neutral, and the convertible started rolling down the street. And apparently, our friend Caitlin and a couple of the friends who she was with were the only ones who noticed this was happening. And they're all like, oh my God, what do we do? One of our friends was about to jump up and maybe try to run out and wrest control of the vehicle from the man. But finally, after it had rolled several feet and looked as though it was just going to keep going down the hill, he pulled the emergency brake again and jumped out and just went and started running down the street waving his arms around.
Wow. That's a pretty good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, the last one. Now, I teased you with this last night when we were out at the bar, and you seemed like you did not believe that this actually had occurred.
This seemed incredible to me.
Well, I have the actual text messages here. We had the street freak a while ago actually come to my front door and try to gain entrance to my apartment, knock on my door several times. Now it's getting worse. I've received a text message from a street freak. I was sitting at my computer minding my own business when I got a message from a number that I did not recognize. It was a local number. It said, my BPK. And I had no idea what that meant. I thought maybe backpack, like some sort of...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe some shortening of backpack. I wrote back, don't know what you mean. Do you have the right number? The response, no, SRY. Sorry, I don't know why you can't just write out sorry. I said, no problem. Okay.
It's fine.
That's the end of that.
Yeah.
Few minutes goes by. I'm behind Mission. Now, I live right near the Lighthouse Mission, which is a homeless shelter.
Well, this is the part of this that makes it incredible, right?
That's what's so fucking weird. Yes. That is fucking strange. Okay, I say, didn't we already establish that you have the wrong number? Who are you trying to reach? I reached him.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Another few minutes goes by. Are you a man? Again.
Yeah.
You have the wrong number. And now, by this point, they know they have the wrong number, and they're just trying to talk to me, apparently.
Are you a man?
Are you a man? Again, repeated.
Yeah.
This is all spelled like R and then U.
Yeah.
I said, yes,
Good
but I am not your friend.
Uh-huh.
So that's all that we need to say about the matter. Have a good night. I can give you a blowjob. So I'm assuming this was a female street freak.
No, not necessarily.
Well... Do you think? Because usually all the ones offering blowjobs are like the meth-addled crack whores that wander around.
This is crazy.
Yeah, fucking crazy. I said, no thank you.
Jesus.
Please do not write me anymore. And that was the end of it. I was tempted to go down by the Mission and see if I could find this person, but I didn't know, it was probably a bad idea.
That's creepy.
It's very creepy.
Okay, you are a man
I should give out the number.
You are a man that talks about street freaks.
Yeah.
Okay. So someone randomly from the Lighthouse Mission, which is just down the street from your house,
yes,
accidentally does your number.
Yes.
A person that's just talks about Street Freaks and is just like a couple hundred feet away.
There's some sort of weird cosmic connection going on here, Warren. I don't know what's happening, but they're drawn to me like, I don't know. It
seems impossible.
It's frightening. So there you go. You have 3 different Street Freaks for this week. Which one is your choice?
Well, I thought that the jumping in the convertible guy was going to run away with it, but I've got to go with this text message thing because it's just amazing.
It is amazing.
I cannot believe it.
I don't know what the future holds for Street Freak of the Week.
Oh, there's going to be in your apartment when you come home.
I know. They'll be in my bed. They'll be in my bathtub.
Yeah, they're going to be everywhere.
It's going to be frightening. All right, so congratulations, maybe Miss Crack Whore Blowjob Offering Street Freak. You've been awarded the Street Freak of the Week.
Congratulations. Keep your texts coming in.
Our hats are off to you, Mr. Homeless Man, because you've been selected as the Warren and Bradley Show Street Freak of the Week. Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show.
Yes, it is Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show, and our very first story this week is an update on a story we had last week about the naked Prince Harry cavorting in Las Vegas.
I recall.
Apparently, one of the girls at the party has come forward to give her take on what happened.
A party girl, you might say.
Party girl Carrie Reichert. She spent less than half an hour alone with Prince Harry, but party girl Carrie Reichert, her memories will last a lifetime. The 32-year-old blonde recently opened up to the UK publication The People about the British royal's wild night in his VIP Las Vegas hotel suite. So apparently she was at the party. She was down in the casino, and Harry, I don't even know if it was Harry who approached her or one of his entourage, just invited her and 9 other girls up to this party that was going to be going on.
Yeah, that's the thing that like celebrities and professional athletes do, right? They just have like their entourage go approach women,
which
and
is
be like,
very handy.
hang out.
Just because you're known, then people will come.
Yeah, people will come. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially like party girls who are hanging out in casinos in Las Vegas.
I don't know how you know that a girl is a party girl.
Oh, you can tell
Just
if they're
by
wearing
looking
a
at
party
her.
dress.
Okay, that's what's required.
That'll
Party
clue
dress.
you into it.
Okay, so apparently the entourage was like, okay, there's a party girl. Let's invite this party girl up to the party suite.
Or the Prince Harry was like that party girl, that party girl, that
Maybe.
party girl.
Yeah, I think they do point them out.
Yeah.
And then the entourage
like when
goes
someone
and
like
visits.
Axl Rose is performing on stage and he like tells the guys who to get for him later.
Yeah. So she goes up to the hotel suite. Apparently the party was already in full swing at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Harry was already naked. He was running around. She says she was handpicked with 9 other women. She said that Prince Harry asked her to be alone with him.
Oh.
We kissed. He was naked at the time and pretty open. It was a drunken fumble. It wasn't romantic, just fun. He was a gentleman, but he was so wasted. The alcohol affected him. I was there for 15 to 20 minutes. Apparently, Harry was wandering around the party, screaming and yelling, naked, asking everyone else to get naked. He was playing air guitar with one of the pool cues.
Okay, okay, party girl, here.
Yeah.
You referred to Harry as a gentleman?
Yeah.
What do you have to do to not be a
Yeah,
gentleman?
I know. Maybe actually just, put it in. I don't know.
Sexually assault her, and then
Maybe.
she'd be like, well, you're maybe a little less than a gentleman.
I don't know. It's interesting to me because if I were a woman, I mean, obviously she wanted to make out with Harry when he was naked, or else she wouldn't have gone into this party to begin with. Or once she entered the party and he was running around naked playing air guitar and on a pool cue, she probably would have left if she was not into this kind of thing. But it does seem like with some of these women, you can just manhandle them all you want, and it's expected that that's going to occur. And they might be like, oh no, come on. That's enough. But
if you're a party girl, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not as though you've overstepped some bound. You're supposed to try to feel up women, apparently, when you get drunk and invite them into your hotel room. But to me, if I went up to a woman and just started pawing at her boobs, I would consider that a very inappropriate thing to do, and I would expect to be slapped.
Ungentlemanly,
or,
too.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh!
It's time for a train
This is a train break.
This is gonna be a short one. Oh no. Oh, there off those coal trains.
Oh, that was a good train break. So where were we? Talking about Prince Harry. Basically, she was just describing a drunken debauch night where Prince Harry was running around. Apparently, it wasn't gross to her.
Well, the air guitar thing was probably pretty gross.
Maybe.
With his little ginger sack, like...
I remember once walking into a boys' bathroom in middle school.
Oh, God.
And
Yeah.
one of our friends playing his penis as though it were a guitar. He had stretched it out and he was twang, 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 twanging away on his penis.
This sounds familiar to me.
It wasn't making any noise.
Was this guy a ginger, too?
No.
Okay, I can... Because we went to school with a ginger.
Yeah.
You recall who would do that kind of thing?
Yeah, he liked to show his penis.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
Anyway, we're digressing a little bit here. They made out for about 20 to 25 minutes. They did not have sex.
They made out for 20 to 25
Yeah.
minutes?
And there were other naked women whom he was embracing. So he had a good time, obviously.
I just like the air guitar. That's my favorite thing. Because when you're having a good time and you celebrate something, like when we're playing pool, and we make a good shot, we often take the pool cue and play a little air guitar.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, because...
So if there were naked women and I was fondling them, I might do a little
it's like,
spontaneous air
I'm
guitar
having a good
myself.
time, so I'm just going to do a little air guitar
Yeah.
on this pool cue. Why not?
All right, next story. Stevie Wonder insists his "gays are confused" comment was misunderstood.
How so, Stevie?
Stevie was being interviewed by a UK newspaper, The Guardian.
Oh, yes. I read The
And he was
Guardian.
asked if he was surprised that rapper Frank Ocean had gone public with being gay. Wonder responded, "I think honestly some people who think they're gay, they're confused. People can misconstrue closeness for love. People can feel connected. They bond." And then there was a firestorm of controversy after that, and he has clarified the statement by saying, "I'm sorry that my words about anyone feeling confused about their love were misunderstood. No one has been a greater advocate for the power of love in this world than I, both in my life and in my music. Clearly, love is love, between a man and a woman and a man, a woman and a woman, and a man and a man. What I'm not confused about is the world needing much more love, no hate, no prejudice, no bigotry, and more unity, peace, and understanding." Oh, shut the fuck up. So he basically let out his true feelings. Then people got pissed off, so he had to give this bullshit peace love statement to clarify the statement, even though it was the exact opposite of the statement he had made previously. The only reason I'm really even talking about the story is because we're looking at a picture of Stevie Wonder now, and he's wearing one of his weird, like, half suit, half tribal African garb
Like
thing.
moo-moo type thing,
Moo-moo
yeah.
with the Nehru collar, and I'm wondering, does he know what he's wearing? Does he have any idea? Because he's got the ridiculous bald head with the cornrows in the back and that ridiculous jacket on. Does he just have people like...
Yeah, he has people just dress him.
Yeah, but does he have any concept? It's like,
Yeah, I'd like my nice suit. Give me my three-piece suit for today.
oh, here you go, Mr. Wonder. And they give him this
You
weird
think people are
moo-moo
making
thing.
fun of Stevie
Yes.
Wonder by dressing him like this?
Yes.
I don't know. That's sort of a stretch.
Look
But
at
it
him.
makes
He
me-
looks like a freak.
Oh, I know, but it also makes you wonder about, like, making love as a blind person.
Well, yeah. I could never have sex if I were blind because I would never know if people were fucking with me. Oh, your girlfriend's so hot. It just pissed me off. I would always feel... I'd be suspicious at all times.
But is that why you have sex with attractive women? Because you want other people to know you're having sex with attractive women?
Well, I want to know that I'm having sex with an attractive woman.
So even if you can't see the woman, and the idea that you're having sex with an attractive woman is
It
enough...
would depend on if I had been blind from birth. If I was blind from birth, I wouldn't really care because I would have no concept of what beauty was.
Stevie Wonder was blind from birth, wasn't he?
I don't know. Oh, maybe he was.
Yeah.
So I guess clothing doesn't matter to him either.
No, nothing matters, apparently. Besides for the sweet, sweet sound of music and love.
And peace.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough of Stevie Wonder. Another update on a story from a few weeks ago. The coroner report has come back on Sage Stallone.
Okay, good.
Warren, you keep laughing. He's not laughing at the fact that Sage Stallone is dead.
I just
He's
have a picture
laughing
of
at
you
the
in my
picture.
mind, like, with the actual coroner report. Like, paging through it, like, looking at everything, looking at what's happened, all the
Well, the LA County
details.
coroner does send me,
Yeah, of course.
all
Every
his
coroner
reports.
report, yeah.
Apparently, his death was from natural causes. It was sort of suspicious at the time. People thought maybe it was drug-related. And it was reported that there were drugs and alcohol in his apartment, but maybe that wasn't the case because they said the toxicology report. The toxicology report came back saying that he only had a little bit of hydrocodone in his system.
Oh.
And apparently it was just a heart condition.
He had, like, a congenital heart condition they found during the autopsy?
I don't know if it was congenital, but he died from blockage of the arteries. No other factors were involved. So,
Yeah, that's weird. So he had heart disease? Huh,
I guess. He's only 36.
Huh.
Okay, this last story is probably the most interesting, and from reading the sources here, I don't know how much stock we can actually put in it, but I like it, and so I'm going to pretend that it's all absolutely 100% true.
We like this whole backstory to this, right?
Yes.
We assume it's true.
This involves Tom Cruise and Scientology, and Warren and I are convinced that Scientologists are creepy cultists, and anything that plays into that idea we enjoy.
We run
embrace.
with it.
So this is also from Us Weekly. Actress Nazanin Boniadi. She is a Persian-born English actress, was apparently audited to be Tom Cruise's girlfriend pre-Katie Holmes. This is a very interesting story, and it's rather long. I'm going to just try to pick out some of the salient points here. But this was in, I think, the October issue of Vanity Fair, so the upcoming issue of Vanity Fair.
Good. I get Vanity Fair, so I'll be able to read it.
You'll be able to read this in depth. Special correspondent Maureen Orth claims that in 2004, Shelley Miscavige, wife of Scientology chief David Miscavige, this must have been before she disappeared.
Yeah, she's the disappeared one, right? Yeah.
Was in charge of finding a suitable girlfriend for Cruise, who had recently split with Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
According to Orth's sources, the organization began by seeking out actresses who were already Scientology members because they figured that would be easier.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have to try to indoctrinate somebody into the faith of Scientology.
That's the simplest way to do it if you're going to make a sham marriage.
Yes. Mark Headley, a Scientologist from age 7, claims he watched several actresses' audition tapes when he was head of Scientology's in-house studio. Maureen Orth, the correspondent for Vanity Fair, claims that Nazanin Boniadi was selected to date Cruise from November 2004 until January 2005.
That was the length she was supposed to date him?
I don't know if that was
or that was the time when she got picked out.
I think that was how long it lasted.
Yeah.
In a month-long preparation in October of 2004, she was audited every day, a process in which she told a high-ranking Scientology officer her innermost secrets and every detail of her sex life. She was told to lose her braces, her red highlights, and her boyfriend. And apparently she had to sign a confidentiality agreement. She met Cruise in New York City in November of 2004, and this is when she first sensed that this was possibly going to be an arranged marriage. Cruise and his entourage had rented an entire floor of Trump Tower, and she went up there with Cruise. They spent the night together, but according to several sources, they did not have sex.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, that doesn't shock us, does it?
Supposedly she did eventually fall in love with Cruise.
Yeah.
But she was irritated or overwhelmed by his frequent public displays of affection, and Cruise apparently thought that she wasn't affectionate enough to him in return, saying that he gets more love from an extra or from extras on set. She moved into his house at one point. She was given a credit card issued in the name of his production company. But all
weird.
this ended after an incident in which Boniadi asked David Miscavige to repeat himself. Now, those of you who aren't familiar with Scientology know, or don't know, that apparently having your communication land or get through to someone is a vital part of Scientology.
We'd be great Scientologists.
Yes. And so to ask the president of Scientology to repeat himself is apparently a huge insult, and Cruise was just flabbergasted that she would do such a thing and completely became cold to her. Their relationship broke up, and also because apparently they wanted someone with her own inner power, like Nicole Kidman. And so that's when they got Katie Holmes or
Katie
something.
Holmes has inner power?
I guess. She supposedly was later sent to a Scientology center in Florida, where she told one of her friends about the relationship, which was a violation of her confidentiality agreement. She was punished by scrubbing toilets with a toothbrush, cleaning bathroom tiles with acid, and digging ditches in the middle of the night. I don't know how much we could actually take.
Fuck?
A Scientology spokesman denied this source, telling Vanity Fair that the church does not punish people.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. But, so this never got out in the media when this was going on.
No.
When they were arranging things and things were happening and not enough affection was going back and forth. They were going to eventually spring it on the media at some
This
point.
is
but never
coming
got to
now
that point.
from former Scientologists, and so of course the church is saying that these are disgruntled apostates who have gone out and are trying to spread dirt about the church. But
And the church is famous for its credibility.
Oh yeah,
its honesty. So I'm definitely going to go with the Church of Scientology.
It's also
on
famous
that.
for intimidating people
Yes.
and breaking into people's homes, and yeah. So
we tend to believe this is
I
probably
tend to
true.
believe things like this. I mean, I don't find it hard to believe in any way, shape, or form. So there you go. If any of you are interested in Scientology, go to Scientology.org.
Fascinating.
Very fascinating. I think that's enough time for Celebrity Minute.
Show enough.
This has been Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show. They say things that don't make any sense. And then they do things that make even less sense than the things they said that didn't make any sense. Oh, they want you to buy them fancy jewels, but when you give it to them, they say you're a fool. Whoa, 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 whoa. 'Cause that's how women are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how women are. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All right, now I don't know if this is actually deserving of having its own That's How Women Are segment.
But stay tuned anyways.
Well, because basically it's just something that I notice, and it's very anecdotal. And maybe it'll just be the form of me posing a question to you, Warren, and
I'll be the judge.
Well, and you can decide if you've experienced something similar, and then if we're noticing a pattern, then maybe we can attribute it to women in general.
Or maybe I'll poo-poo what you're saying.
It's possible. But the other day, I had to do a few errands. I was running around to various different stores and establishments, retail establishments, and I kept noticing over and over again, it's something I've noticed before, the use of personal checks. And it's one thing if like a 90-year-old woman is like, oh, let me get my checkbook, and she gets it out of her billfold and writes a check because they don't know what's going on with the debit
She was
card
writing
or
those
anything.
checks like back in the day to get a train fare because the planes didn't exist.
Right.
Yeah, so she gets an exemption.
Yeah, that's fine. You
Yeah.
know, they're used to that. That's what they do. But I was just noticing, first of all, every fucking line I got in, I was behind some woman who was writing a check.
Yeah.
There was times I was in a convenience store. Somebody bought a pack of fucking gum and wrote a check.
Yeah.
I was in the bagelry, and somebody got a coffee and a bagel and wrote a goddamn check. And there's this whole rigmarole where they have to get their ID out. People are writing their driver's license number on the check. It's this huge, long process. It takes so fucking long. I pay for everything with cash, pretty much exclusively. Occasionally I'll use a debit card. I don't carry a checkbook with me. Do you know any man who carries a checkbook with him?
No. Even my dad, who is very averse to change.
Yeah.
Finally, years ago, we got him to get a debit card, and now he doesn't use his checkbook all the time.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, this is much easier.
Yeah.
When I get gas, I just put it in the gas thing, and it's very easy.
Right.
You don't have to write a fucking check. You don't have to write about what you're doing.
So basically, I noticed it was 6 different occasions in the single day, and this is why and this is why it stuck out to me so much, because I've noticed this before, but it's never been this egregious, of women writing checks for small piddling purchases at grocery stores, at other retail stores. I don't think I've ever seen a man writing a check in a grocery store. I don't think I've ever seen a man writing a check at a McDonald's or at a fast food store. Is this something you've experienced as well?
Now that you mention it, I do notice that it is all women that are doing this.
Why?
I don't know, because...
Is it just because they have a purse, so they have a place to put the checkbook?
That's probably one of the reasons, right? Because they can always have it with them, so they don't have to worry about having cash. The other thing is, I don't understand about people, is why don't you just carry a little cash with you?
I don't know. I don't know if people are afraid of being mugged. I mean, we don't live in New York City.
People don't get mugged here.
I don't know.
Very rarely happens. And the other thing is, it's so much easier just to have, like, some money on you. And if you buy an incidental thing, you have money to pay for it.
It's one thing if you're making a big major purchase or something.
Oh, if you're at Best Buy buying a giant TV... For God's sake, use your debit card, credit card, but if you want to write a check, that's okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're going through your daily life, you want to buy a cup of coffee, you want to buy some gum, you don't want to have to write a check.
Well, and think of all the stupid little things you
card.
purchase throughout the day. You know, you go get gas, you go get, like you said, a cup of coffee or a stick of gum or something. And if these people are writing a check for every single one of those, that's like a good 25 minutes out of their day.
It's strange. And the other thing, but the thing about the cash is, I'm always like, it's just a little foresight, right? Because you don't know what you're going to purchase with this cash. So you take the cash out and you have this cash with you and it's always available for you, right?
Right.
But it's some willful, like, not caring about what's going to happen like a half an hour from now, where you're just like, oh, I'll just deal with that when I get to it.
Right.
You don't have cash. You're a place that needs cash. It only takes cash. You don't have any cash. You have to go running around looking for an ATM. It just makes your life so much more annoying to not have cash on you.
I was just trying to think of maybe good reasons why these women are using checkbooks. I was thinking, okay, maybe it's because they want to keep a running tally. And this was the other thing that was pissing me off, is they'd be in line at the grocery store, First of all, they didn't have the check pre-written.
Oh, this is the thing that drives me crazy, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to write a check at the grocery store, that's fine. But if I'm in line behind you,
Yes.
and you wait till you get the total, and then start filling in the name,
You know you're going into that store. It's not like you're like, oh, what store am I in? How did I get here? You know where you are. Write the fucking name down the check.
Even if you're in line before you get to your turn, write the check out except for the total.
They
then
wait
write the total and give it to
groceries are
them.
bagged, and the cashier is looking at them. Okay, pay me now.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, and then it's the fishing through the purse for 20 minutes, finding the pen, finding the ID.
It's inconsiderate.
It's ridiculous.
It's very inconsiderate.
Okay, so then once they do that, then they go and balance the checkbook while still in line. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is irritating, but is this why they're using the check? Because they want to keep a running tally.
Yeah.
But how hard is it to purchase things on the ATM and then look online at what your tally is? Or, like me, I put a certain amount of money in the bank, and I have a certain amount out every week that I'm allowed to spend on, just my
your allowance.
It's my walking around money, like getting gas, getting food, whatever. I know how much cash I have in my wallet. I always have a running tally because it's right there, and I can count it. So fuck that. The running tally is bullshit.
And if you're trying to keep like notes on what you're spending money on, it's much easier just to have a checkbook where you note it down and not actually write the check.
Right.
You don't have to write the check to note what you're doing. Oh, I completely agree with you on this one. This is a very annoying thing, and it needs to stop. There's no reason to keep doing this.
In this day and age, especially.
In this day and age.
Well, we're going to get to the point where we just have RF chips, and you just wave a little fob in front of the cash register, and it'll take the money out of your account. And I still think there are going to be idiots writing checks. I just want to get to the point where stores just say no fucking personal checks anymore, or they have a personal check only line, or a line where it's cash only. Because I'm always in the line. First of all, women just take longer in the grocery store line anyway. I don't know why, even if they're paying with a debit card or cash. Yeah. I want a single men cash only line that I can get into.
Well, that's what you do in the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
You look at the lines, you see there's maybe 8 of them in a row there.
Right.
And some of them have 5 people, some of them have 1 person.
If you see 10 men in a line,
you get in the line of 10 men.
You do, because they've got condoms, maybe a 6-pack of beer,
And they're no small talk. They just pay and they take what they're going, and then they leave.
And they go. Yeah.
Oh, it's very annoying.
So can we draw any conclusions about females based on the fact that, I mean, obviously not all women do this, and more women our age use debit cards, but I was noticing, and that's the thing that stuck out for me the other day when I was noticing all these women writing checks, is that many of them were not old. Many of them were in their 20s or 30s or, middle-aged women.
This is what I'll say about women right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to alienate anyone, but I will say this is true. I know a lot of women, particularly older women, who are very obsessed with what other people's behavior is and how inconsiderate it is. And they talk about how inconsiderate everyone is around them.
Right.
Yet they go through their entire life blocking people in lines.
Right.
Doing things like this in traffic, which I consider very inconsiderate and would never consider doing.
Yes.
It's hypocritical. And you need to take a look in the mirror and realize that don't worry about how aggrieved you are at what everyone else is doing. Realize what you're doing to everyone else around you and be a little considerate and get the fuck out of the way.
So I guess what you're saying, Warren, is that writing checks in the checkout line is inconsiderate, and that's how women are.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, they like to put pretty purple panties on. And then they turn around and tell you that every little bit of thing you've ever done is always wrong. Well, they like to cry when they stub their little toe. But no, they don't cry when they tell you to go. No. Yeah, that's how women are. Yeah, I'm talking about how women are.
All right, I think we have time for one more segment here. I was watching a documentary the other day about coal miners in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Have you seen what modern coal mining entails? Because you have that vision in your mind of, 19th century wielding a pickaxe.
Very dirty people under the ground, constantly people like ahead of them in the tunnel yelling like, "Oh no!" and then like it blowing up and them dying or collapsing on them
and everything blowing up. I mean, you still hear about people in Brazil or other countries being buried alive in coal mines and things like that. But
I thought here,
and it does happen here. But I thought in America, at least, the conditions of the actual work had improved quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look too fun. They get in this the shaft, and this elevator takes them miles below the surface of the earth. It's dark and filled with choking dust. And it just looked horrible, and I couldn't believe that in this day and age there are still people who toil away in coal mines in
think
America.
There'd be somebody sitting in some sort of sophisticated machine that would be doing it, like kind of like tunneling down, and there'd be a control panel, like
hermetically sealed.
Yeah, exactly.
And, nowadays there are a lot of options. You don't have to be a coal miner if you don't want to be a coal miner.
Breaking news, everybody.
Yeah, but, if we lived, I don't know, in the 19th century in England or something, it was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution.
They need a lot of coal all the time.
They need a lot of coal. You're a common person. You're working class. You don't have an education.
My papa was a collier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe a stevedore or something like that.
Yeah.
And basically your only option is to work in a coal mine.
It's a coal town.
It's a coal town.
Everyone I know, when I've been growing up, works in the coal mine.
Your grandfather died of the black lung, but you don't see any other options open to you. You married Bessie at the age of 19. You've got 2 children already.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
You've got to feed these little bastards.
Well, this makes the hypothetical very challenging, right?
Yeah.
Because I'd like to think that if I was Warren the coal miner in England in the 19th century,
right,
and I was like 14, and I was seeing everyone, all the adults around me dying of black lung, people working like 12-hour days, 6 days a week, doing nothing but working all the time and barely getting by, that I might like assume I would try to leave the village. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just even if there's no other way to get away, just walk away, even if there wasn't a train.
Well, that's the interesting thing is that, it's only the last century or so that people have become mobile, moving to different cities, uprooting. I'm sure that happened to a certain extent, but for the most part, you were born in the valley you were born in, and you died in the valley you were born in, and you might never leave that valley. And so
but I think the valley might have been more pastoral in like the 16th century or the 17th century when I had the little plot of land.
Right.
And we had a nice little village.
You were a serf.
You'd work hard.
Yeah.
But you weren't dirty and you weren't dying of black lung all the time.
Basically, all of human existence has sucked.
Yeah.
Up until now, we finally...
I still think things suck now.
Things still pretty much suck, but if you think about it, when we were hunter-gatherers, you'd work for 2 or 3 hours every day hunting or gathering, and then the rest of the time you just fucked off and lounged around and did whatever the fuck you want.
That seems like a good time, right?
That seems great.
Yeah.
They still now say that hunter-gatherers have more free time than any other society in the world.
Every time you see them in a documentary, like in Papua New Guinea, they always are like smiling and having the greatest time.
Just laying around.
Like climbing trees.
They might die at like 45 or something.
But who cares?
Yeah, who the fuck cares? And then once we started getting into farming and civilizations, that's when basically everyone but the elite was just fucked.
Yeah.
And people have been fucked for thousands of years. And now we're to the point where we expect a certain amount of safety, a certain amount of security, a certain amount of free time, at least in the Western world.
Yeah.
But even 100 years ago, 150 years ago in the Western world, that was not the case. You worked 7 days a week, 14, 15, 16 hours a day.
Until you died.
Until you died.
Yeah.
What's the fucking point?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you're this guy getting up at the crack of dawn, working in the coal mine till late at night, sleeping, doing the same thing day after day after day until an accident happens and you die, or you get sick and die.
Yeah.
You'd think that you would look at it in a sense like it was a prison sentence, right? And it's like, can you get away from this?
In prison, I don't think you had to slave away in a coal mine.
Exactly. You almost rather be in prison, right?
I don't know. It's that idea.
That's
of
the appeal is to, at that point, become a bandit of some sort.
Oh yeah. So is that what you do? You become a highwayman?
I like to think so.
You demand tolls on the road?
Yeah, like Barry Lyndon, the guy that Barry Lyndon runs into.
Yeah.
That demand. This is a very gentleman, but he takes the things from him. Yeah, something like that. But and the thing about it, it's going to be hard for them to catch you. They don't have the technology they have now.
No.
They don't have any of the communications.
No fingerprints.
So if you get from one side of England to the other, there's no way they know who you are.
No.
They have no record of you. You can just run around doing whatever you're doing. Eventually, things are going to catch up with you and you're going to die, but you're going to die anyways in that fucking coal mine. So why not have some adventures?
I think I would have been a criminal back then because...
Oh, it makes sense to be a criminal.
There was a good corrupt aristocracy that you could exploit. You wouldn't feel bad about that. Like now, if I went into a store and robbed somebody at gunpoint, in some ways people could say, oh, it's a victimless crime because it's some huge corporation or something.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, I'd feel kind of bad about that. But if there was some, Viscount or something who was forcing me to slave away in his coal mine,
yes,
I would have no trouble stealing from him. That would not be a problem. You wouldn't have to slaughter people. And even if you did, you'd probably be putting them out of their misery anyway.
Oh, my.
So, I don't know. I think most part I'm pretty moral. I don't think that stealing is a good thing to do. But I don't know. In that situation, I think I could probably go for
Go
it.
Robin Hood even,
Yeah, I don't think I'd give it to the poor. I think I'd keep it
Really?
for
You wouldn't help
myself.
the poor?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
No,
Buy them their gruel or whatever. I don't
But
know
you
what
think the
would do.
people that were living back there working in these coal mines, you think they were less happy than we are today?
I don't know. I think it's whatever you expect, because they had no expectation of any better life. So I don't think they were constantly lamenting the fact that they, why don't I have a 40-hour work week and get Saturdays and Sundays off? They didn't even think that was possible. But it's just, it comes back to that whole thing of just life for life's sake. And I don't agree with that at all, where people just talk about the sanctity of life. Like just the fact that something is living is something sacred.
Yeah.
But if your life is a horror, I don't think it is sacred. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, it's like you are the person that has your life, right?
Yeah.
Your existence precedes your essence. You're this person thrust into this world.
Right.
And you have to sort of make of it what you will. And the fact that people around you in your village are saying, oh, well, your pa was a coal miner. You need to be a coal miner too. Mm-hmm. You labor away in this coal mine and it's awful. What is the point?
Yeah.
There's no point, except for if you have a baby and then your baby works in the coal mine too.
Right. Maybe it was just the hope that your children would get something better than you eventually.
Which I guess worked out eventually, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Because the children of those coal miners, lots of them are, orthodontists now, probably. I mean, the great-grandchildren, right? Or they're successful accountants, or all these things that people consider successful today.
Yeah.
So in a sense, I guess we went through that period as a society, and we built up maybe a better society.
So you're not living for yourself. You're living for the future generations, which I have no concept of because I have no children and can't imagine.
I still wouldn't mind the future generations doing well.
Yeah.
Like if there's some danger to humanity, I would struggle to keep humans going.
But basically what we've established is that if you were living back in that time, you would be living fast as a highwayman or thief.
Or I'd try to start some sort of rebellion or something. Yeah. I might be like some sort of communist insurgent.
I can understand communist sentiment and revolutionary ideas back in that era.
Yeah. At this point, it seems a little bizarre to still
and before
think that.
they hadn't tried it and saw how horribly it failed over and over and over again.
Yeah. But if you're slaving away, working all your life until you die, you might be like, no, we can do something better than this.
Yeah.
Right? But that just wasn't the way to go.
Get out the guillotine.
Well, fair enough.
All right, then. I think that's probably enough time for the Warren Bradley show this week.
Is the last thing said on the show.
We got a little heady and philosophical in that last segment. I hope it didn't alienate any of our
I know people
listeners.
who listen are used to maybe crying a little bit, laughing, and maybe thinking a little bit.
Maybe.
And we think we've done all of those things today.
All right, well, this is Bradley Victor
This is Warren Van
saying,
keep your face in the sky and your heart and your head.
That's not even close.
This has been the Warren and Bradley Show, brought to you by Warren Van and Bradley Victor. For podcast news and information, like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/Warren and Bradley. Follow the show on Twitter at Warren and Brad. Subscribe on iTunes and leave a review. For episode archives and episode pictures, go to warrenandbradley.com, and to contact the show, write to podcast at warrenandbradley.com.
At least usually spuriously
Tie it
attributed to
into
all
women.
women or something and wrap it up in a neat little bow. This might be just completely a random thing, and I'm going to try to accuse women of being a certain way. And
I think that's completely valid.
I think so, too. We'll have some celebrity minutes, some updates on a couple stories we had in the past, and just some inane, idle chit-chat.
Oh, good.
Something
to look forward to.
Yeah, I think that'll be exciting. Yeah, I was wandering around today, ran into a couple friends, had some coffee, just did my little Sunday that I normally have. It was funny, though, because this morning, when you were a little kid, were you nervous about talking to strangers?
I don't know.
About 6 years old, 5 years old?
Maybe. I might have been, yeah.
Because I wasn't at all. I was always very...
You just walk up to him and start talking?
Well, I was like one of those obnoxious kids you see in movies who are completely unrealistically precocious, and they're always just saying these obnoxious things.
Oh, yeah, I've seen kids like that around. Yeah, sure.
And I was kind of like that, where I just was like, hey, what's going on? And I would just go talk to strangers all the time. But today I was at the bagelry, and I was sitting at one of the outside tables having my bagel and coffee, and there was this mother came with her kid, and there was another table out there, but it only had one chair. And so she wanted the kid to ask me if he could use the other chair that I had at my table. And of course I'm hearing all this because they're just like 5 feet away, but I don't acknowledge the fact. I just pretend that I can't hear them. And I could have just said, yeah, go ahead, use my chair.
Yeah.
But I could tell that it was this big deal that she was asking the child to come ask me. And it was like she was trying to teach him some sort of lesson or something.
Teaching him how to talk to strangers.
I guess, yes.
Yeah, very valuable lesson for downtown Bellingham.
And so she's like, go ask him if you can use the chair. And he's like, and he started, sort of snuffling like he might cry, just the very idea of it.
He was just nonstop just riding that kid until he despises her.
He seemed kind of, I don't know, like a little wuss.
Well, you know what? I think that might
up.
be kind of a function of like having that sort of mother in your life.
That's possible, yeah.
Yeah. If you're just like...
You don't feel confident because
if you have a mother that's cool and it's just like whatever and you get along with it and you grow up normally, you would probably be able to talk to strangers anyways. But if your interactions with adults are mostly the interactions you have with your bitch mother,
right,
it's going to turn you against adults generally.
I also had a little shit tailgating me. Normally, when somebody tailgates me, I don't really care. I don't react because I'm always going at least 5 miles over the speed limit. And I figure if they're tailgating me, I'm not going to speed up or do anything because fuck them. But this time, there was this kid who was like, he looked like he was 12 years old. It did not look like he should even have a driver's license. And he was in this gigantic Dodge Ram, like dually pickup truck.
Yeah.
And he had a bunch of other little idiots in the truck with him. He comes up behind me, and again, I'm going about 5 miles over the speed limit, and gets so close. It got to the point where he was maybe like 2 feet, 3 feet behind me, and he was purposely going back and forth just right behind me.
Really? So he wasn't doing this accidentally because he just learned how to drive?
He was not doing this accidentally.
Oh,
he was like, oh, look at this, and trying to intimidate me or something in his giant truck. And normally, as I said, I wouldn't do anything about a tailgater, but this was so close that if I had to stop suddenly or if the idiot is just distracted, which I'm sure would be very, very likely, that he would just run right into the back of my truck. And so I finally looked in the rearview mirror very blatantly, put my hand palm back, and motioned several times vigorously back, and then mouthed back off into the rearview mirror. And he saw me, and he kind of went, oh, and his friends all laughed, but he sort of pulled back a little ways. And then I pulled.
The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley Show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some magic.
It is magic time. Hello, and welcome once again to the Warren and Bradley Show. I am one of your hosts, Bradley Victor.
I'm the other host, Warren Van. You already banged your feet against the desk.
We need a better soundproof studio here. We were just complaining about all the... It seems like all the hogs keep riding by all the time.
Yeah, a lot of Harley guys just like rolling down the street here.
Giant trucks, and I don't know what's going on. It seems like...
Summertime's the time you bring out your loud vehicles.
I guess, and just drive back and forth in front of the Warren and Bradley studios to try to fuck up our shit.
Trolling Bumtown to see what's going on.
But anyway, it's a nice day, still summery.
Yes.
I was out enjoying the weather a little bit today. Had a couple experiences, a couple interactions with people.
Oh.
I don't know if we want to get into... Well, I'll save... We have a Street Freak of the Week, and actually... A friend of the show has submitted one as well.
Oh, that's exciting.
So I think we'll have 2 or 3 Street Freaks contenders this week that you can pick from. We might have a That's How Women Are. We'll see how that goes. It's something that it's basically just going to be me bitching about something.
I think that's what most That's How Women are.
Usually with the That's How Women Are, there's some sort of overarching thing where I can...
It's just going to be you complaining about your life?
Well, no, I can pulled into this... I was getting a Subway sandwich, and I pulled into the Subway, went in and got my sandwich, got back out into my truck, and he pulled up next to the truck. So I don't know if he was circling the block or something and looking for me afterwards. So this is this tiny little guy with his tiny little friends. He pulls up behind. He's like, "Want to go, bitch? Huh?" And yells this out at me out of the truck. And of course, I said, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Where do you want to go? Let's figure this out. And I was sort of half in, half out of my truck, and he was pulled up next to me, and he went, where are we going to go? What are we going to do here? And his friends are like, oh, and they start poking him, and they're talking, and finally I'm just like, is this happening or what? What are we going to do here?
Are we going to settle
and
this?
And then one of his friends like, go, go, go! And they peeled out and like drove away from the parking lot. So I don't know if it was just the truck that made him feel invulnerable.
No, well, this is the reason why there are restrictions on teenagers having other kids in the car when they're driving.
I thought they weren't supposed to.
I don't think they're supposed to.
Yeah.
That was probably a violation of the law.
He looked like... I'm not one of those people who... I'm not 80 years old, and when I see a 30-year-old, I think they're 12. I'm not one of those people, but he literally looked like he was maybe 13 or 14 years old.
But, I mean, the kid wouldn't have been doing the tailgating thing if he wasn't trying to impress his friends, probably, or being egged on by his friends. He wouldn't have tried to, like... say he was going to start a fight with you if that hadn't been going on with the friends. You know what I mean? It's all the friends.
I just love situations like that because you know what he had imagined in his mind would happen, and to disappoint him. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to beat up a little kid, but it's like beating up a woman, basically.
Yeah, there's nothing,
and that's we've talked about this before with our good friend Chance when he would arm wrestle women. And the best thing that can happen...
on the podcast before.
We've mentioned it on the podcast before. Let's embarrass him even further. The worst thing is you arm wrestle the woman and you having to talk to me.
Yeah.
He's like, you ask him. You ask him. Like, no, you have to go ask him if you can use the chair. And
Jesus.
I'm sort of chuckling to myself, waiting for this to happen.
It's an annoying mom is what that is.
Yeah, it was kind of obnoxious. I should have just shut her down, but... my mirth at the child's discomfort was greater than my...
I feel bad for this child, though. That's the thing. This is the kind of mother thing where it's just like you're doing things that you're making your child uncomfortable for no reason.
Right,
like
but
this kid will learn to talk to strangers when he's 8 just naturally. You don't have to do this on the street.
But you don't know that for sure. He could be like a dog that refuses to walk on a hardwood floor, and finally you just have to drag it onto the hardwood, and it freaks out for a while, but then finally it realizes that it's not going to fall on its ass.
Absolutely necessary.
Or maybe it does fall on its ass, but Anyway, the dog is better off in the long run, and the kid will be better off when he can go up to strangers and get candy and do all the other things.
Yeah, exactly.
And get molested. So anyway, she's like, no, you go talk to him. And she's kind of a bitch, so I should have just shut her down. But he was like, just getting all red and pent up. And so finally he comes up to me, and of course, I wish I had like a pipe or a journal that I had been writing in, or a ledger or something, or maybe some horn rim glasses that I could take off and fold and put in my pocket. But he came up to me.
Ponder his request.
I know. But he came up to me, and I turned towards him expectantly, waiting. And he was just shaking with fear.
Oh.
And it was kind of sad. But he went, can I borrow your chair? And I went, yes, you can. And he went, oh, thank you. And he took the chair and put it back to the table. And his mom went, see? It was fine.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets to look forward to the next 12 years of that bullshit.
Until he can get the fuck out.
Until he can get the hell out of there.
Yeah, it was amusing. I mean, there was no harm done, really. I mean, who knows what kind of abusive thing she does to him when she's not around other people.